All right. Testing 1, 2. What's going on, everybody? Donnie Rouse here, and today I want to talk to you about connecting to your inner guidance. And when I'm referring to connecting to your inner guidance, what I am really referring to is connecting with yourself, connecting with your dreams, your passions, your desires, your aspirations. Before we could connect to those things, we must first understand, where do we get disconnected? We get disconnected by our environment, the shoulds that people are placing on us, our desire to placate them, to agree in order to be part of that, that circle. We get thrown off by the environment, what we're told that we should want for our lives, as well as just the noise that is constantly being thrown our ways via the TV, the newspapers, or our phone. If we know that this is what's causing the disconnect, then the only thing that we need to do in order to connect is to do the exact opposite. Some steps you can take to start going down and reconnecting with yourself is turning off all the noise. I've done several podcasts on this in the past. But what I was referring to, what I often mention in those episodes, was that when you're turning off the noise, I'm like, turn off your phone, turn off the TV. But now I'm going to talk to you about turning off the noise from your own friends and family. In my household here, there's no doubt in my mind that my family has the best intentions for me. And they think that they want the best, and I should follow a certain path. I'm using the air parentheses over here, the air quotes. There's no possible way for them to know what that path is for me. And even if the path is in alignment with what they're saying, the shoulds that they're throwing at me literally throw me into it throws my mind into chaos. And as a result, I start questioning my own inner guidance and feeling the need and pressure to conform to what it is they're saying. When this happens, all of a sudden, it just creates this momentum of resistance in my body. And the way out is silence. This morning, I went out to the back, and the first thing I did was journaling. And I journaled about last night. We had a family dinner here, and everyone was going on about my the coffee that I'm doing, my cold room espresso, and that I should be doing this. Oh, but if they had my opportunity, they would not, they would have capitalized on a long time ago. And at some point, I just snapped. I said, you do not know what it is like unless you are in the arena fighting. You do not know what it's like. So it's easy from the outside for people to look at us and be like, oh, yeah, all you got to do is this. But they don't know what the struggle is. Right? Because the truth of the matter is, if it were that easy, then everyone would be doing it. Right? And an example of some of my siblings, right? They had aspirations for doing their own business, but they didn't. Why? Because they chose security over doing their own thing, right? So it's easy for them to look out and be like, well, all you have to do is this. But when you're in it, there are a lot of forces that are coming at you. And, one of those being the forces of your family telling you what you should do, how you're supposed to conform to a lifestyle. But my lifestyle is very, very different. My desires are very, very different. In some cases, they actually do align with what they're saying. But when they are barking out at me, the first thing it does, I just disconnects, and I go into like protection mode. And I just turn off. This morning I was sitting, and one of the habits that I hadn't been doing recently was reading in the morning. It's one of the most powerful habits you can do, especially if you're reading something that's going to serve you and move your life forward, or at the very least, change your perspective. show you what's important. So this way you can focus your mind on things that are going to align you and move you in your own unique path. So I was reading the book. I think the book is called, if you want to pick it up, it's called The Other 90%. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. And in this chapter I was reading, it was talking about going into the silence and reconnecting with yourself. Some of those steps, they were like, well, making sure that you plan time to get away. When I, inspired by this first part, I went to look at some of my journals that I had taken from my most recent trip. And in that journal, I was looking at it. And when I was describing best moments, some of the things that I would write down were the inspirations that I had while I was traveling. It was to go back home, put my coffee into cafes and create this, the inspiration was there. Ironically, this is exactly the kind of thing that my parents like, oh, you need to go do this. Oh, you guys should be. And it is actually what they're saying, like in the direction I want. But when someone's telling you what you should do, sometimes a natural inclination is just to go the opposite way. So it's counterproductive. If you're telling people what they should do, you don't tell people what you should do. You let them dig deep within. So I was finding these things. I was like, wow, yeah, that's what I want. And then I did this exercise. And the exercise is going to a place where you feel just extreme peace and you let go of time. Now, I didn't go anywhere, right? I didn't go to the beach or listen to the water. I didn't go anywhere. For me, in order for me to relax, I need silence. I need seclusion. Like when I'm alone and I'm silent, I'm just allowed to rest, relax, lay down, listen to the wind blowing or whatever it may be. My mind gets quiet and I start to connect back with myself. The beautiful thing about this is that you do not need to leave anywhere. I was sitting outside in my chair and I closed my eyes for a moment. And the place I went to, and I don't even know where the hell this thing came from. I was in a treehouse. I don't know where. I was in a treehouse and I was reclining on like almost like one, I don't know if it's called the ottoman, like the couches where you kind of recline back. And in my mind, I'm vividly picturing the texture, the grains of the wood against the wall. And I just hear the wind going and my mind is at ease. And as a result of that, all of a sudden I started to get clarity. I started thinking about my path forward with this coffee and how everything is going in accordance with how it's supposed to be. When I'm listening to everyone else around me saying that this should have happened already, it literally throws me in a spiral and they have no clue. In where I am right now, I just got back from Italy about a month ago now, and so I'm creating one of my first authentic Italian espresso blend. Before I was just doing single origins, and I was saying, all right, use this as espresso. Now I'm actually creating blends for espresso. And in doing this, there's all of these things that I have to, like steps in order to get there, right? I mean, between getting the bags, creating the labels, buying the coffees, organizing with the roasting facility that I'm going to be roasting at, for what I need to start doing it. And there's just a lot of little steps. And I was trying to rush these steps because I didn't feel like it was like I wanted to be at the finish line, right? I wanted to be completed. In all these steps, I was just getting flustered because I'm like, I just got to get these things done. But as I was journaling, I would realize, like, you know what? These are all steps moving me in that direction, and that my intention for this was my ultimate goal is I want location freedom, but I want to do what I love. And the idea of location freedom, like traveling 24/7 is that I don't know if that's really what I want to do. I've been on trips for a month in Italy and I'm like, I cannot wait to go home. I'm tired of Italy, right? Who would think? But it's kind of how the body is, right? We crave change. We crave challenge. So as a result of doing this, and I realized that this is just step number one. I'm doing my bottled coffee, but that's very difficult to scale, and I've been going in and out for literally years. trying to figure it out, but there's always been a snag. The roasted coffee, on the other hand, I could do that and I could scale that quick. And the other thing with the roasted coffee is that it's going to open up other possibilities for me, because I've always had the desire to open a cafe, just didn't want to be, like nailed down to one location. If you're listening to the language I'm using, you're like, of course, he wants freedom. You're nailed down in location. Think of the imagery that puts in your mind. But nevertheless, I know that it is a desire of mine at some point. And so this creating of the blends is starting to put my coffee into wholesale accounts. This is all just one step in the right direction. And there's no way I can skip those steps. You're like, well, what are you talking? You were just talking about taking time, and now you're talking about, doing all these, taking the steps. Well, yeah, that clarity came as a result of silencing my mind, of giving myself a moment for myself to just think of what direction do I want to take. And it's funny how I forget, because I could be traveling around the world, and I will get these insights. The desire for freedom is always there. But I will get these things like, oh, I want to bring this back home. I want to bring this back home. I want to do this. But then when I'm home, I get back into the rut of doing things, right? And like that everything must be done now. That I forget some of these insights that I had, but in the silence, they came back. So the reason I tell you this is because I want you to invite the silence back into your day. It's so easy to think like, oh, you know what? God, there's no time. I don't have time. How am I going to take time to 10 minutes to sit down and do nothing, right? I got to get this done. It has to be done. And when I get this done, then I'll take the break. How's that working for you? There's always going to be more things to do, right? And on your to-do list, when is the last time it actually got it got less, right? It always builds. It just compounds because there's always things to do. So you're doing yourself a big disservice by not first figuring out what is that core desire that you're moving towards. And you're not going to get that in the busyness of your mind. The only way you're going to get it is if you go into the silence. Not to mention, it feels good because all of a sudden, as a result of taking away that resistance, you blow past like whatever limitations you had. All of a sudden, you just literally you skip by them happily and smiling because you allowed your mind to reorganize and really look at what was important to you. So if you're waiting for that perfect time, guess what? It's never going to come. You've got to be the one to decide that you are going to take the time for yourself, for life. So when are you going to take the time? When are you going to do it today? Pressure on you. And I joke around with it because I know the change, the significant impact it will have on your day, and if you do it long enough, on your life. Life is always happening, but if you don't take the time to stop and appreciate it, it literally is just going to pass you by. And I feel it feels funny, I talk about one life and I talk about my challenges on here because people look at me and they're like, well, damn, you travel twice a year, you go in all these countries doing all these things. Yeah. There's a reason why One Life is the name of, of this podcast. There's a reason why One Life is the blueprint, is the course that I created. It's because it's one of the struggles that I face, right? And I wanted to create a tool. I wanted to create something that connect not just me, but you back to your day, back to what is important so that we're not running around crazy all the time. That we could literally shut out all the external voices, influences, and go along our own path. You're always going to meet resistance on your path, right? Because a lot of the time it's going to be counter to what other people, especially your loved ones, want for you, or counter to what the culture is saying that you should have. But I promise you, there's no way in hell that you will ever get fulfillment unless you are listening and being true to yourself and going down your path. Your path may look completely different to mine. You may be like, Donnie, I don't want to travel. I love my hometown. I can't stand the thought of even getting on a plane. I like to knit. whatever you want to do. The point I'm trying to make is just silence your mind, figure out what it is that your heart is calling you to do, and then continue to take the steps to move in that direction. At the very least, if you don't even do that, just take the moment to just enjoy the day, to enjoy the gift of being alive for another second. That alone will ground you, right? If you think of all the things that have to happen in order for you to take that breath that you just took right now, right? And right now, all these things have to work in synchronicity. Any one of these things, little things absent, like, even like a beating of a heart could be detrimental. So give thanks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope it inspires you in some way to stop in your day, to go somewhere, just to retreat into the quiet, take off your watch, put your phone down, don't even put it on in your desk drawer and step away. And trust that your mind, say, you know what, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to go and just quiet my mind and just to be. And trust that your inner knowing is going to know when that time is up for you to step back into the world, because it will tell you. Do that today and see how you feel. See what new dreams, desires, what new messages you get to step forward and to move forward thereafter. It will come if that is what you intend and that's what you ask. Or maybe you just want to just be at peace. That's fine too. Go into the silence. This is where life happens. Life doesn't happen in that craziness. It happens when you stop to appreciate and enjoy this very moment. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode here. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Give it a share to someone who you feel could benefit from that. And please leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to it, because that is what helps get the word out about the podcast and to make more people take that moment to stop, to enjoy, to follow their one life. So who doesn't want that? So I hope you enjoy this episode, guys. If you want to subscribe, ask a question, you could do so via my website at www.donnyraus.com. That is DonnyRaus.com. That is all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, you only get one life. Live fully, live passionately, and most of all,